All right. Turn this music off because I forgot to. I'm sure it's loud. No kidding.
I like it.
First and foremost, go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Scott. Scott couldn't show up today without wearing green, guys.
That's right.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for hanging out with us on this wonderful evening. We will be revealing a card very, very, very soon. I promise. I will not make you guys wait that long. But we did, before we get into it, I've been yapping a bunch recently about all the cards I've been liking or hating and things like that. I want to give Scott a quick opportunity while people get in the chat, get active, put your guesses in, let us know what in combo do you think Crown is. So while we're doing that, I do want to get into it a little bit. Scott, there's been already over 100 cards revealed, I think. It's actually been insane.
Was it just today?
Today was like 30 plus on an own. It was actually crazy. But of all those, you picked these two cards. So I'd like to know what about these cards that stand out to you that you like the most?
So I think what's similar about both these cards and why I like both of them is because even though they don't have come into play abilities, they affect the board immediately when they do come into play. So I think that's an important point because they don't actually. It's not them themselves that do the ability. It gives these abilities to other cards. And so as a result of that, like they're just the catalyst for your other cards getting better. So as long as you have a board, which I like when you have a board and you have cards in play, each of these cards can actually affect your opponent's side of the board by them simply coming into play. What I really like about King Candy is that it makes a characteristic of the cards like actually matter. And in this case, it's the racers. I think it opens the door for helping some of the racers that already exist now. Specifically, I think it really helps out the 4-cost Vanellope that has Rush, and I think it really helps out the 1-cost Vanellope. I think it really helps cards like Teeth and Ambitions possibly see a lot more play than they do nowadays. Maybe back to its levels that it used to in the past. So I think that card's very good. I think it could give life to some other racers that don't see a lot of play as well. So that's why I really like that card. On the Mother Gothel side, I think she might be a little more difficult to use, but it can be hard to ignore the fact that the damage can be spread to different areas. So essentially, at its absolute worst, it basically says that when one of your damaged characters challenges somebody, like they basically get +1 strength. Like absolute worst, that's the worst thing that happens. Technically, if it doesn't save the character, it basically just gets +1 strength. Like absolute worst, like you can take a damaged 1-drop 2/2 and swing into a 3/3, like an absolute worst. But best, if you have multiple characters in play, you can really clean the board up, in my opinion.
Very, very true. I think both the cards are very interesting. I think the Mother Gothel in particular is way more interesting. I think it's just a card that when you read it, you might have to actually read it a few times to understand how powerful it can actually be.
Yeah.
How like you have this ability of you can trigger it in multiple different ways to benefit you. And the idea that it also happens before the actual damage happens in a challenge is pretty big. So it can turn on, like a way for like a Mr. Smeed to live longer, or potentially a way for like your snake to live longer. I meant 3/3s in general, not Mr. Smee. But I really think those things are interesting because we have not seen a lot of that in Disney Lorcana whatsoever.
No.
So I think that is definitely a card that speaks out the most, is something new and interesting to try. But the King Candy, I think, is the opposite. I think that for me, when I read the King Candy the first time, I said, okay, this is the card we've been waiting for. Mm-hmm. Like Shimmering Skies had racers and it was cool. And then Azurite Sea had some more racers. And you're like, oh, okay, we can kind of sort of do the thing, but we really can't. King Candy makes me believe there's a world where we can.
Yep.
So I think that's what's most, in particularly like most interesting about that card. And like some of the racers that I think people are really misguiding, is a card that we just haven't seen. We've seen very little of it, but Vanellope was a card that for a little while we've seen it kind of touch grass in a way in Ruby Amethyst and Ruby Sapphire decks, but we'd never really seen it outside of that. And it's a card that is very good. Now, granted, we also got away from Diablo decks, and at the time it was probably a little bit harder to play that card. But there's some really good Emerald cards in this set that might bring Diablo back to life, so it might even kind of create even more position for it. So that's what I really enjoy about those two in particular. And even in terms of building, you talk about utilizing characteristics. The characteristic of Racer, is that something that you've been interested in? Is something that you like now? You're like, oh, this is it. This is the reason I want to be a part of it.
I mean, this is the reason why I want to be a part of it, because I don't think it had any reason before, but now it's like a positive.
Right. Very, very fair. Very, very fair.
I mean, you can do some insane things. Like if you swing that Vanellope into a 3/3, get the trade there, and then she takes out whatever else they played. I mean, it's going to be very, very difficult for your opponent to ever have exerted characters against a Razor deck, in my opinion.
Yeah. Not sponsored by Burger King, guys.
Is that why you took it off?
I literally I couldn't put it back together. I had to get help from a friend. Kylie had to come and put it back together.
A friend?
Yeah, a friend. Phone a friend, guys. Scott, have we made them wait long enough?
I think so, because people were like only here for that. So
that's very true. That's very true. All right, fine. Oh, I got you guys a little bit. I'm sorry. We are restoring the crown, and here we are. It is an art. The artist for this is Jocelyn Van Gool. He ironically got to do a bunch of really great artworks. These were the three that I picked out because I think they're my three favorite that he has done. I think on this channel we don't do enough of a shout out to the artist, and this was a great time for this because, in my opinion, I've seen over 100 cards so far, and this card art is amazing. I like out of this world good. You can see Jafar standing there, kind of like embodying it, powering up the crown. I think that's really, really cool. For me, the first time when I looked at this, like when we got the image, I was like, wow, this kind of feels like this like culmination moment of potentially the story of set 7. Like this, because we've already seen that in set 8, on the cover of set 8, he's wearing this crown, and we were wondering, like, why was the crown red? Like what was it doing? Like, why did it change colors from the first image to the second image? And this is that moment. Like this is why we are now seeing that, and I really enjoy it. Anything that pops out for you, Scott, before we move forward here?
No, it just seems like a climactic part of the story, which I think will be cool because knowing what the card does, it can be a climactic effect.
It's very true. Spoilers, Scott. Spoilers. So here we are, a little bit more. I know I'm teasing you guys a bunch here, but the Hexwell surge with pure creative energy, fusing the crown's pieces into a final burst of power. A lot of storytelling in that flavor text. Not something, again, that we always pay attention to, but we kind of been talking about in the last couple of weeks of like the lore of the set. I do think in this particular set, there's a lot of really, really good like snippets of lore. And then on top of that, we're also getting the lore cards in this set. So I just, wanted to pinpoint it. All right. It's a 6-cost uninkable. It's an action. It's Amethyst and Steel. And here we go. I think we're ready for it. Take it away, Scott.
So it's a 6-cost uninkable that says exert all opposing characters. Whenever one of your character banishes another character in a challenge this turn, gain 2 lore. So it's basically like the Taka ability from set 1 on a stick for all your characters. I think this is definitely a way to close out the game. You need to have yourself, again, in a position where you have enough characters in play that you can exert your opponent's entire board. They have to also have enough characters in play. And then hopefully you can basically just gain 2 lore for each one of those characters that you banish, instead of just like, questing with them. So it's a way to gain advantage. The fact that it's a 6-cost uninkable means it actually, like, you have to gain, I would think, at least 4 lore out of it to make it worth it with upside. But I do believe, like, in mirror matches type situation, or in more of a situation where you're like aggro control or aggro on aggro, this can certainly close out games. You just have to be in a situation where you're actually able to challenge enough characters to make it worth it. Obviously, if you play this with something like Calhoun, she's getting double duty. And there are other cards as well. I believe that like gain lore for certain things. Like if you were to play this with Shere Khan, you can't play with Shere Khan, but like those
can't
types
play
of
with Shere Khan. Can't do
those
that.
types of abilities. But what I do
the
like is
cards are Calhoun, Robin Hood, Sheriff of Nottingham. Like there's obviously like already cards in the in combination, but the concept here of you get to exert your opponent's board.
Yep.
They can't even prevent this.
Mm-hmm.
So if this is what we're building up to, if we're kind of like playing chicken, if we get to those board states, ironically, anyone that was watching last weekend's SSG games, there were a lot of board states where Melissa and her opponent had 5 characters in play each, and they were just like waiting for this like break serve moment. This is the ultimate break serve moment. You're like, all right, whatever, exert the board. I'll trade everything into your trade everything, but in the whole time, I'm going to take out your board and I'm going to gain. In those moments, it'd have been 10 lore or plus.
Mm-hmm.
Blowing up goats with this, like challenge with your goat, take a character out, gain an extra 2 lore, gain lore from goat, drawing cards, everything like that. The idea that this enables this like cataclysmic moment that you were hinting to is pretty huge.
Yep.
6 cost uninkable, a little bit pricey, but I don't think this card could cost less. I think if this card costs any less, it would be absolutely unreal. So the idea that we're getting this for the cost of 6, I think is very, very powerful.
And you don't need more than 1 in a game. So it's like I wouldn't play more than like 2 of these in the deck anyway. So like it's not like a staple like some of the other 6 cost uninkables we've seen in the past. So like it's not something you necessarily want to even run more than 1 of. So to me it's like this is like an alpha strike. If you're old like me and play BattleTech, that's where that term comes from. Like this is definitely an alpha strike in Disney Lorcana.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Again, the exert all I think is like you almost read the card and you forget the first line of text.
Yeah.
And it happened to me several times because I kept coming back like, okay, character banishes, that's cool, like whatever, game extra lore, and then I kept like having to remind myself like, wait a minute, you just can't protect from this. It really is that moment of like you're just like, nope, this is happening now because I said it's happening now. I do not think that this card could have ever been inkable. I don't think so.
Yeah, it had to be like certain number of guys.
Yeah. But all in all, I hope you guys enjoy it. It is fun. It is Amethyst Steel, a little bit of what we're kind of sort of known for here. So it's definitely an in combination that we play quite a bit of. It is one of those cards. I do think that you said, I think that this could find home as a one of. The mid-range versions that are kind of like playing to this build you board anyway, they're utilizing Elsa's to kind of like flip games and board states. This is really enabling cards like Calhoun and cards like Robin Hood to just be like that much better.
Yep.
And I think that is notable. Like if you pay 6 and you take out 2 dudes and you gain 8 lore, when you're not supposed to, no one is necessarily prepared for those board states.
Right.
It's very hard to just be like, oh, how do I play around this? Aside from, of course, Pete, because Pete stops everything. But it is one of those that I think it's going to be that moment in games that, it's I don't want to call it like the super goof moment, but it could be like the amount of lore that you could gain from this in certain board states is pretty massive. And I do think that it is the cost of why it is uninkable. You can't just be like, oh, this card's bad this turn or this game, so I'm just going to ink it. Like, I think you couldn't have that much choice out of this card if you wanted to.
Agreed.
Oh. So there we have it. We've done it. We revealed yet another card from Disney Lorcana. And of course, with that, as always, we have to say thank you. Disney Lorcana giving us this card reveal is amazing. We're always very excited to get anything from them, from Ravensburger and things like that. It really means a lot to us to be able to kind of share with the community, be a part of the game, be respected enough to say, hey, we trust you with this to do this. So thank you guys so much for having that, because it really is, it's a moment that we're very excited to have and be a part of. Any more there for you, Scott?
No, I love the art and I love the effect. So it's cool. Yeah.
Oh, Scott. So we got a little more time here. We have friends coming though, guys, but that is our card reveal. But we do have some friends coming. There's none here yet. He's running a little late, I guess. I should pick on him. But we can chat until he gets here. You just had.
Did you chat for like hours earlier?
I did.
I
It's okay.
like how parts of it. So
Yeah. We're going to be hanging out today for a while because we are going to actually stick around until the next reveal is coming out, which is going to be by Lorcana Girl, but it's not going to be for a while. So lots to talk about on this episode. We are talking about, in general, just at 7. If there is anything, right? If there's any questions you have about the card or anything, let's see. I was kind of trying to pay attention to what we're doing. What else do we got? Was there any good comments that were laid out here?
there were 2 other cards that were revealed in the time.
There's already 2 cards revealed?
Yeah.
While we were sitting here?
Yeah,
Okay. There was a bunch of cards revealed after our stream. I could bring those up if you wanted me to.
Yeah, there's a Ruby Sapphire Beagle Boys.
All right, give me a second. I'll get there. We'll get it up on screen for everybody.
An Emerald Steel Gizmo Duck.
Gizmo Duck?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's remove this. Let's see. Did we share them already?
I don't know.
Did we get there? All right, we did get our friend. I don't see them. I think we're slacking. I don't see them yet. It's okay. When we get them, we'll put them up. Don't worry, guys.
I can get the screenshots and put them in there.
I see. Oh, there he is. There he goes.
Here I am.
Here he is.
I didn't know there was a link. I was sitting here waiting for a link.
Oh, I think you just gave it to me. My bad.
No, I didn't. I put it in Discord.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't use Discord.
So, everybody, this is not villainous.
Yeah,
Big
this is Big Durns.
Right. Mr.
Someone knows how to spell?
Yeah,
Crazy.
right. Mr. Big Durns, how do you feel about restoring the crown?
What does it do?
Boom. Put it back on there for you.
All right. Exert all opposing characters. Whenever one of your characters banishes another character in a challenge's turn, gain 2 lore. Melissa needed this.
Yeah, see?
You said that.
Yeah. Clearly cannot be inkable. Because, like, what, you just... Are they saying boo earns?
No, they're
Boo
booing you. They're booing you. They're booing you.
Does anyone watch The Simpsons? Are they saying boo or boo earns? Yeah, I don't know. Card seems good. I mean, if it was inkable, it'd just be a 4 of in every every deck it could go in. So yeah, a really nice finisher.
Agreed. Well, Mr. Dick Burns, we're here to talk about some of your favorite cards as well.
Oh, we're supposed to our favorites. I just put the ones I wanted to talk about.
All right, that's fine. Works for me. So go ahead. You by the way, there was no good picture of this download anywhere, and it was very frustrating to me.
Yeah.
So just deal with it, guys. I'm sorry. I apologize.
And I also thought they were going to go in order. Like the one was the absolute worst, and then they led into each other.
You can do it in any order you want, bro. You don't have to read left to right. It's not a rule.
Sure. I am a rule follower. Yeah, so the Baymax, right? So how broken is this card? It's the only reason I put it on here is a giant argument that happened in the North Carolina chat of how this card was the most broken thing to see Disney Lorcana. When I hear the word broke, what do you think when you hear the word broken?
Unstoppable.
Yeah, like if you're not playing it, you actually don't have 2 brain cells that you've rubbed together.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. So is this that?
No.
It's a good card.
Yeah.
So, my response was, what? I mean, it sings immediately, right? If we have songs that we want to sing, not that we've seen any good songs. And then the whole, like, it heals them was just like, okay, but it also banishes it if you think about it. Like it covers up the thing that's going under or going on top of, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a good card. So I just wanted to point that out. Also, Universal Shift, first of its kind. Have they revealed any more?
No, I mean, I don't like. I don't. I don't really know what else could do it, right? Like, it makes sense that the Baymax does it. It's just like a super suit that like gets attached, and like that makes a ton of sense.
I feel like it would have to be a giant morph, like a 7-cost morph.
Right, but I don't know. Like, to me, there's a very limited amount of things that would even make sense for. So I don't expect Universal Shift to be like some common word that we see. I don't even know if I would expect to see another Baymax with it, because it just feels like really interesting and unique. And honestly, it's kind of shocking to me that the card's not legendary. Like, that's how unique it feels.
Yeah, especially since like as we've seen in the past, just because it's legendary doesn't mean it's good. So like you would think, just like, I mean, the flavor is unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, and then so next was the Ink Geyser.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we might throw around the word broken on this one.
Sure.
I don't throw that around lightly. All right. I'm never light, to be fair. So I am excited to see all the complaining that's to come. All of the stories of, well, I would have won. I had the game set up. I had my 14 ink in play, and I was 30 minutes into time, and the Ink Geyser me back to nothing. Can you believe them?
Yeah. That card certainly has the potential for some negative play experience.
Yeah, I'm also excited though if it's one of those cards, right, where if it's good, it's bad.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see, like, do people actually just start trying to win the game?
Right.
Like, that could be exciting, because if they do, Ink Geyser not great, and it's uninkable. If your opponent is also expecting Ink Geyser, you're kind of cooked a little, right? Yeah. And then the Donald Duck I found interesting. So whenever this character is challenged, you may return an action that is not a song from your discard pile to your hand. So for one, it can return Ink Geyser. Sure. I think that's pretty cool. So you can keep that going. Something more interesting was when we saw Lady, I was saying maybe Lady can go into this more like Amber Emerald control deck.
Right.
And this would fit right with it, with Revive, where it's just a closed cycle of, I'll revive my Lady, I'll return my Donald, I'll play the Donald, I'll quest with them, get the Revive back at some point. I don't know if that's too slow, but it was definitely interesting.
Yeah, it's weird to me that the Donald didn't have a restriction on it.
Yeah, like 3 or less or something.
No cost,
right? Like the idea that it's just like, no, I'll get back anything. It feels pretty strong. He is a weird character. Like, obviously 2 costs on Inkable is like notable, but 2 lore as well. Like, it's not a card that you can also just ignore.
Yeah.
So it'll just matter how much the 1 willpower is like not good enough into the field. Since it's uninkable, you kind of just like, you're forced to always play them. So against in the Steel Song, it's like, well, how many times are you actually gonna ever get challenged? Like, you're probably just gonna let the Storm Mage on a million times. The card's are gonna be useless. So it's gonna depend on like the metagame in itself and like how you can really utilize it. So that's definitely a thing. I don't know. Kind of hard to say. We do have some ducks. All right. So these were revealed while we were revealing. Gizmo Duck, 4 cost Inkable, 4 strength, 3 willpower, 1 lore, resist 1. This character can challenge ready damage characters. Thoughts?
Did they have to add the word damage? Ready?
Yeah, it's an emerald card.
Yeah, they can't be great.
I mean, I think it's unique. I will say there's not many inkable cards that can like challenge ready things, so that's notable. Weird to me for this to be Emerald Steel, like checking for damage in a way when very clearly the Emerald Ruby stuff is like creating the damage. So it feels a little awkward that's like what's going on here. But I love the art, love Gizmo Duck.
I like the flavor of like how all these are like in Magic, it would be called a signpost uncommon, where it's like, this is clearly Emerald because damage matters.
Yeah.
This is clearly steel because it has resist. I really like how they just like really mash those two things together.
Some of them knock it out of the park with that. Not all of them, but some of them certainly do. The other this looks awesome. 4-cost inkable, 3 strength, 3 willpower, Beagle Boys, 2 lore with the ability Hurry It Up. When this character quest, chosen character of yours gains rush and resist 1 this turn.
It's interesting that this is not a Beauty and the Beast card, because the other Ruby Sapphire cards have been Beauty and the Beast cards.
That is true. That is true.
That's interesting to me. I guess the main question is this ever going to live to quest?
What is this from?
I'm assuming Goofy?
DuckTales, I think, because look at the
DuckTales. Okay,
I think so. There's like a plane in the back or something. I might be wrong. It looks that way to me.
Let us know in chat, guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like just old enough, and my kids are just young enough.
DuckTales.
I have no idea. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean the card does not seem great, but it does enable Maui Shark to just come down and immediately eat something and resist 1.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe you can LeFou the Maui Shark or use the action that is LeFou, just like that Ruby Steel deck that you covered at SSG.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think it's bad. I mean, it's really good in limited. I'll tell you that much. But I don't think it's that bad.
That's true. Limited's definitely wow. It's actually probably really good in limited.
the 4-drop slot is just so hard.
Yeah.
Like, especially with Hiram in the game, just it's a lot like Amethyst. It's like as soon as they print a 4-drop, I automatically think it's unplayable because there's so many good ones. It's gonna be hard to like dethrone some of them.
That's very fair. So a bunch of cards came out after the stream ended today. We have some free time, and it'll save me time from doing it later. So we can, like cover them now.
Sure.
I know. I want to cover them.
Yeah. That's
I was
good.
so hyped for this season.
All right, so
I had notes and everything.
We have Kita. Kita is a 4-cost inkable, 3 strength, 3 willpower, 1 lore. She has Ward and the ability Exert this. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck. Put 1 into your inkwell face down, exert it, and the other on top of your deck. I'm going to repeat that. You put it on top of your deck. You don't put it in your hand. Yeah. You don't put it on the bottom. You put it on top of your deck. All right, cool. I think I said it enough times so people can read and don't have to read it. They'll just hear and know that I said it. That way it happens. My one complaint about the card is the idea that every one of these cards does something different, and you're just asking for people to mess up. It's so frustrating. I hate that Grandma Tell is like 1 in your hand, 1 on the bottom. How far it goes? 1 in your hand, 1 in the inkwell. Now you have this. It's 1 in the inkwell, 1 on the top. Like, there's just like it's all of them. Like, why is it all of them? But the card has Ward, so it has Ward. I don't know if that makes it better than Grandma Tala on average. That is like a real problem, I would say. But aside from that, how far I go on a stick that's kind of good.
It's not how far I'll go.
I mean,
not how far I go. You're right. You're right. I'm wrong.
This is great value. How far I'll go. This is way of how far I'll go at home.
Does this? Yeah. Like, is this type of card that turns on Raya? Like, is this like where we would go with this direction? So we can play this on turn 3, play Raya on 4, Kita, ready her with Kita, ready her with Raya, and then Kita again. And all of a sudden now we just like get 2 ink out of our characters. Like, is that something that we can try and do? Or, I don't know.
I mean, I guess it depends if you want to go from 5 to 7 instead of going like if that's like a thing. Like ramping in the mid game, not using how far I'll go, like because you have to exert her to do it, which is a
right.
problem.
Like, I don't know. I guess like, is it possible that we can get away with some of the songs and just now play this? So maybe that opens up uninkable spots in our deck. Like maybe gives us a little more freedom in deck creation with like uninkables.
I mean, she should live to use her ability, which is what I like. But
Right. So you're going to get an ink out of this card.
Right. But the problem is, like, will she then trade with anything? And that's the thing. Like, like if they use the Grandma Tala to take her out and she got the ink, I think it's worth it.
Sure.
It's just like you wait a turn to get the ability of not as good as Grandma Tala, but you wait the turn to get something out of it. Right. And then the other question is, like, if you ramp from at that point, you're on turn, let's assume it's actually on curve. You didn't do anything on 2. Like, you're on turn 4, then on turn 5, you go from, again, 5 to 7 or whatever the next turn. Like, if you can save yourself from having to ink, then she's essentially drawing a card also. And I think that's more where you need to, like, look into using her is, like, is playing that 7th ink preventing you from having to ink the next turn? And if so, then, then again, like you said with Raya and cards like that, every single time that she uses her ability, if that draws you a card as the game progresses, I think that's good.
Right. And it is notable, obviously, this card can enable uninkables similar to how far ago.
Yeah.
So if the top 2 cards there and it's 2 uninkables, it's not like you're stuck. Like you can just ink one, which is notable.
Yeah.
It's so I feel myself to clarify this is on purpose, right?
Yeah.
It's not a complaint that the cards are different. It's a complaint that the abilities are so repetitive that at a competitive tournament, when you're playing in an event and you have 3 of the same cards in your deck that all do something different, and if you mess up, you get penalties for them.
Yeah, and I mean, like, look at NACC. Someone like easily could have gotten disqualified.
Right, like in NACC on camera, if you put the card in your hand instead of putting it on top of your deck and you shuffle your hand real quick, guess what? You just got a game loss. Like, I don't like cards that like create confusion for players, because all these cards are going to see play. They're all good enough and they're all different enough that they can actually just like create issues in them themselves. That's why, like, I don't love, I would much rather them just all be way closer to the same than all of them be this much different. That's just where my problem is with that card in general, because it really could. It can lead to just like problems that you don't really want to be a part of. And it can be confusing for new players. New players can get very much confused by those things, which is not as great. Any more on Kita there?
Yeah, I think like just by us saying we kind of need something else to make it pretty good means it's not good enough, because so far Synergy has only been good when both cards are already playable and you would like always want them. And then it just so happens once they're together, they're unbeatable.
That's fair. Can we talk about a card that like broke the internet for 10 minutes because the translation was wrong?
Sure.
So Isabella Madrigal is a 5-cost inkable, 3-strand, 3 willpower with 4 lore. And her ability is, I don't have the name of it. Unfortunately, we didn't get that. But her ability is, whenever one of your characters sings a song, this character can't be challenged until the start of your next turn. For a hot minute here, guys, we thought this card, whenever the character sung the song, they couldn't be challenged, and that was kind of broken. We didn't get that.
Sing together might actually see play, if that was how it worked.
Yeah, that's really
Mob song, legendary.
Yeah.
Look at this family. Look at this family and protect it.
Yeah, it would make sense. Yeah. Much like Vin Diesel, she loves family.
Yeah. I saw some of those go around with my family song, which was funny. So 5 costs on inkable, 3/3, 4 lore, with an ability that like pseudo protects itself on singing. How do we feel about this guy?
I would never play this card. It's a really powerful card. If it was printed before like CISO on Ice was the best deck ever, then I would be like, oh my god, this card's insane.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's just so hard to be resigned to, well, I have to play it because it's uninkable.
Yeah.
And I'm totally just hoping that it gets back to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the problem is that even if it can't be challenged, there's just too many cards that can remove it. And therefore, as a as much as it's nice to have this cool ability, and again, the art on this is out of this world, but it is one of those where you don't even know this card's going to untap to ever even quest with it ever.
Yeah.
And yeah, 4 ink is a lot. For 5, it's a 3/3, and it is amber, but I mean, Gantu is arguably strictly better than this card just because it's inkable. You know, like when you're behind, you can't get away with playing Gantu, you can just ink him. We have to be stuck with Isabella, and I think because of that, it could kind of fall behind. All right. This little dude, Grand Marifa. I don't know what its actual real name is. It here? Nope. Translation is I've got all the luck. Whenever this character quests, you may give chosen character of yours +2 strength this turn. It's a 2-cost inkable, 1 strength, 1 willpower, and 2 lore. So it's effectively Ruby support, but only for your own characters.
Double support, or it's weird.
It's yeah, because it's also not his own stat. So I guess that's a little weird. It's the card's just weird, right? Like it doesn't make sense for a Ruby card at all. So I have no idea like what this card is doing for us.
It doesn't even make sense on the art because look, it's so nimble and like it's going through, but then it's just makes something else strong.
Right.
It should be like when it quests, something else gains evasive because like it's evading all of the flying swords. I also wish you could target your opponent's character.
Sure.
Then this would be great.
Yeah. The only thing that like pops out to me is the Maximus. I can't remember if it's from Shimmering Skies or from Azurite Sea, but it like checks for strength at the end of turn.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a world where this card helps that, but I don't think so. It's just it's just such a weird card for a Ruby card.
Yeah, I do think it in a vacuum is a good card. Just because it's like they're easily going to eat it up, but you gain 2 lore and you like send one of your little dorks into one of their higher toughness characters. But I don't think it's ever going to make a main deck nowadays with like how good decks are.
I was curious if it was going to be until the start of your next turn. The current translation, I think, is this turn though, so I don't think it's going to be like maybe it turns out to be the other way. But if it was like the start of your next turn, and all of a sudden we're questing gaining 2 and making this a 3/1.
Yeah.
Maybe it has a little more legs because it trades into everything a little bit better. But if it's only this turn, it just feels very odd. 7-cost inkable Ruby action out of order.
You're out of order. You're all out of order.
Love this art for sure, just because I think it's hysterical. the name of the card for Dragonfire turns into out of order is just kind of very comical to me. This can go down a bit of a rabbit hole of what ink is worth, right?
Yeah.
Like that's just a conversation in design space in itself, where Dragonfire costs 5 and reads the exact same words.
Well, it's uninkable.
So
out of order costs 7, and now it's inkable.
Yeah.
So now you're telling me to banish a character, it costs 2 more ink to be inkable.
Yeah. To do anything, it costs 2 more ink to be inkable.
Also, they can now print a 9/5 or a 7/5 for 2. Because this is Maleficent minus.
Minus where are you going with this, man?
So 7/5s cost 2.
7/5 costs 2 that's uninkable. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
that's not happening.
I'd play it in draft.
Yeah.
It's inkable.
It's so weird.
Wait, would you play this as a 1-off or Dragonfire as a 1-off? Because I think there's argument to be made you would play this as a 1-off if you're going to play Dragonfire as a 1-off.
Man, that's so tough.
It's inkable. It's inkable.
I understand that it's inkable. I get that.
Energy Blast.
Right. Energy Blast is an uninkable though.
I know.
Yeah, Energy Blast is uninkable.
I would still play Dragonfire. I'd rather play Glimmer versus Glimmer.
Yeah, I'd rather play Dragonfire
than out of order.
I don't think it's that bad. I think it will see play.
Okay. Standing by. 3-cost uninkable. We've got company. Ruby action. Ready all characters that gain Reckless this turn.
I'm not comboing this with that other stupid card.
You don't want to take 2 bad cards and make them playable?
No.
Somebody on the internet bought 10 of these today. They do.
Apparently.
they think it's going to be there.
I'm not surprised I actually have 10 of them, but yeah.
I am not surprised that we had 10 of them.
The only thing interesting I could ever see doing with this is singing a bunch of songs and then readying all my characters and singing more songs, or challenging and then readying all my characters, singing more songs. But it's the wrong ink color, so
yeah.
I'll give this one a 1 out of 10.
Interesting if it like readied all characters and then all characters were reckless until the start of your next turn. Like that would have been super weird to figure out. I don't know. Super weird card again. Ruby got some weird ones today, if I'm being honest.
They are chaotic.
Let's talk about Elsa. Guys, 7 cost, uninkable, 5 strength, 5 willpower, 2 lore, Amethyst Sapphire, Floodborn, Hero, Queen, Sorcerer, Shift 4 with Winter Wall. Whenever this character requests, you may exert chosen character. If you do, and you have a character named Anna in play, the chosen character can't ready at the start of their next turn. That was a lot of words.
I mean, you can't. The first ability is good. Don't get me wrong.
You mean Shift 4?
No, exerting somebody. So
this is better than Baymax.
This is better than Baymax? With Baymax.
Is it better than Baymax? That had Shift 4.
The universal one?
Yeah.
Well, this costs 7.
Sorry, I'm just taking another jab at the people in North Carolina.
Okay.
Sorry, Scott. Go ahead.
I got you.
I mean, you're getting a big discount on Shift more than usual. Like you're getting like the Queen.
Yeah, so you're getting 3 off.
Yeah.
That is notable. But like for what's worth, you're getting a 5/5.
I mean, the problem with the reason why 5 cost Elsa is good is because you're not removing. It's like what Dick said earlier, where you're kind of like banishing a character by shifting in a way. Like you're not. You need to have somebody else in play to make this worth it.
Sure.
I mean, obviously, upgrading to a 5/5 off of. I don't know what Elsa the 2/3 like you're not going to shift the 5 cost one onto this. Probably,
I would assume most of the time you like have to shift the 5 cost one because otherwise you just have like bad cards in your deck, like the 2/3.
Yeah, I mean, so if we see other Elsas come out, which she's arguably the most popular character outside of like
I mean, like even if it's
Mickeys
not
and minis and stuff,
even if it's not this set, it would be shocking to not see another Elsa at some point that this shifts onto.
So if there's a 1 to 3 cost very powerful impact Elsa, and you can also have other characters in play, like in a more aggro control slanted deck where you're just exerting characters with the 5 cost Elsa, you're exerting characters with this also. Like I think you make challenging matter. Challenging doesn't matter in these colors, but you make it matter by exerting their characters all the time. I think that she's good. I don't know that the Anna part really ever matters because if you're exerting somebody, you want to be taking them out anyway.
Is there an Anna that's in the game that we want to play right now yet? Is that
probably not? I don't think.
There? I mean, like
the night one.
Obviously, with the name Anna on this card, I would be shocked if Anna is not in the set. Just because it seems like they would never do that. But who knows? To me, I just don't. I don't know. Like the problem I have at the end of the day is, the 5 cost Elsa is very good. The Spirit of Winter is still seeing play in Sapphire Amethyst decks, and for 1 more, it's a 4/6 with 3 lore, and it hits 2 things with no conditions. They say so. Like we took 1 cost off. We did get a cheaper shift. I don't know that it makes. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. But I am. Again, the art on this is out of this world.
Yeah, I think the 2 cost Anna is pretty good. But
what is the 2? I don't even know what that is. What is that?
If you have another hero character in play, a quest for 2.
Okay. All right, the 2 cost 1/4. Yeah.
But it would really have to be a completely different kind of Samethyst.
Right, because that's like an aggro card. Like this card's not an aggro card. This card's not a card that we're gonna like play to win the game with at a top end. We're not gonna play a 7 cost on Inkable in that deck.
Yeah, I have a hard time wanting to play the 8-cost uninkable, but the only reason I do is because the effect happens immediately and I don't have to exert it.
Yeah.
Like it's almost always going to have damage. Like that's not really a 5/5. Right. When you play your Elsa, it's probably taking 2 damage, so it's a 5/3.
Right.
On average.
And it no longer has evasive, like there's other things around that. Moana Island Explorer, 4-cost inkable, 4 strength, 3 willpower, 1 lore with evasive. And when this character challenges another character, another chosen character of yours gets +3 strength this turn. So like a ruby crab, but only when you challenge. Notable that the card doesn't even have to be banished, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
So like this card could banish a genie and then buff something else to like make some other trade.
Yeah,
having just the 4/3 stat line for evasive that's inkable feels like a weird safety valve in the set.
Well, it survives Elsa, right?
Yeah.
It also survives Genie. I've got someone at my locals that plays Slightly.
Yeah. What is that card again exactly?
That's a good point. Yeah.
Slightly is just a 4/3 that costs 1 less. It has evasive. It costs 1 less if you have a Peter.
Yeah. But it just has evasive?
Yeah, so like everyone is playing Genie.
Right.
Like 0 people play Ruby Sapphire around me at all. Right. Everyone's playing Genie. Right. He meta game to this Mufasa deck with Slightly.
Right. This is better than Slightly though, right?
Yeah, slightly.
Okay. Slightly better.
I think it's funny that it says whenever this character challenges another character, as if it could challenge itself.
Yeah. No, I thought when I read it too, I was like, that's weird.
This also makes me think the other translation was correct because this gives another chosen characters of your +3 this turn.
Right. Kind of funny. Shout out to Wazi. Oh man, we're gonna get to the. All right, let's talk about the coils. Let's talk about more Lorcana cards. Amethyst Coil is a 3-cost uninkable Amethyst item. Shocker, guys, I know. With the ability Magical Touch. During your turn, whenever a card is put into your inkwell, you may move 1 damage counter from chosen character to chosen opposing character.
This is really slow.
Yeah. What does the Roses card do?
Which one?
Like there was like a Roses card. I think it was in Azurite Sea where it was just like exert this and move a damage, right?
Yeah.
2 and it's inkable, but you can only do it once turn.
You had to pay for it though.
Oh, you had to pay for it?
What? Yeah. Bell's Lantern?
Bell's Lantern? Is that what that was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's also annoying that it says during your turn, as if like the one time you get Let It Go, you don't get some kind of benefit. Like, like it had to be. It was too good if it was on your opponent's turn as well.
That's kind of funny. Yeah, you see those pop out once in a while. It's hard to say like why that text is particularly there, but it is funny to go, yeah, no, couldn't do that, guys.
Yeah.
Couldn't do that.
If this was inkable, I still would never think about playing it. So
yeah.
Emerald Coil.
Way too expensive.
Yeah. 3-cost inkable emerald item with the ability of Shimmering Wings. During your turn, whenever a card is put into your inkwell, chosen character gains evasive until the start of your next turn.
This one is a lot more interesting, actually.
Yeah.
You could give your Peter Pan evasive. If people can't challenge, they can't gain lore.
Sure.
So like there are actually
like, Peter Pan.
What?
I was like, what Peter Pan? I was like, oh, I figured it out. Got you.
Yeah, it's the Peter we've been playing with. But
yeah.
I mean, so like there are things you can do.
Yeah, I do think that evasive is clearly a better keyword to gain than moving a conditional 1 damage that might not exist. That is for sure. So
I'm glad all the coils are 3-cost uninkables though.
Oh,
I've seen right? 2 of them so far. I'm sure they're all 3-cost uninkables.
Oh, you want to read this one for me then?
What is this? Did you Photoshop this? It's different. Yeah, clip that for YouTube. 2 costs Inkable Sapphire Coil. Okay. During your turn, whenever a card is put into your inkwell, you may give chosen character -2 this turn. And Ice Block's inkable, right? Because it's like not great. Ice Block.
Yep.
Yeah. We're living in a weird, like Alice in Wonderland-esque upside down world.
Oh, this is a take. That's a take. Okay.
Is that Tim, employee of Ravensburger?
I don't think so.
yeah, I'm joking. Damage control right now.
I'll tell you what, let's have some fun. Hey, we have friends.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey, Ben, we're going to get to it a little later, but this is one of your favorite cards revealed so far. How about you tell me why?
Is it ever not a 4 of in any Sapphire deck? I don't know. It makes your just Ruby Sapphire curve even better. Now you have something to do on turn 5. You can play it and play Human Sisu and just kill something.
Or Brawl. Right.
I think it's notable that you can, on games where you don't have ramp now,
just play it.
If we just have this, it means on turn 3 we can ink and Brawl or Sisu literally everything in the game.
Yeah.
It feels like
forever.
It feels like it basically gives you a Medusa without Medusa.
It also makes her
yes.
Insane too.
Yes. But like you don't even necessarily need the uninkability from her because so many other things can deal with it.
Yeah.
We can play both Ice Blocks and that.
I will say I don't think it helps you in the matchups you're bad in. Like, so if this forces aggro to be better because the mid-range and control decks get really hurt by it, it doesn't help those matchups at all.
But it kind of does. Because it turns their three strength characters and their 4 strength characters into lower characters. It now turns on Sisu to open up the cards that were good against you.
But Sisu takes out the Daisy anyway. So like,
but it's not the Daisy, it's the Smee, it's the Calhoun, it's the Lawrence.
You
know, like it's all of those. Now this just says no. Like
on a lot of turns later though. Like you can't.
Not that many turns. Like you said, if we're on the play and we're like, all right, whatever, I'll just play Sapphire Carolyn 2. What is your opponent playing on turn 2? If they play me, you're like, okay, ink, cease to it. Bye. The game goes later. They're like, oh, here's my Lawrence at the 4/4. Like, okay, ink, brawl it. Bye. Like, you can never do those things before. Now you just can. I don't think I agree with that statement at all.
Okay.
It helps under the C deck too.
Sure. Yeah.
I was waiting to say. I think it built up a whole new Emerald. Sapphire thing. Even if you just like have a 4/4 and your opponent has a 4/4, no, they don't.
All of a sudden it's a 2/4 and it just goes away with Muse.
Yeah. How is this also? How is this not once per turn?
I was wondering how that you get away with double inking.
Don't worry, Dick. It is only during your turn.
Yes, thank God.
That's
how they nerf cards now.
It just makes Sail the Azurite Sea better. Because you can ink twice.
As if the card could get any better. Yeah.
It just did. It just did.
All right, we'll get back to more cards in a bit here. Melissa.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Finally have a lady. There's one particular card in here that I know that you have literally maybe even been dying to talk about. Here's your opportunity.
I'm very excited that Lady and the Tramp has made it into the game. Like when we found out when we were at NACC and all of a sudden I had like 10 texts on my phone of a picture of Lady, not knowing what the card did. I may or may not have just like interrupted the entire upstairs with excitement. Like that did happen. But not only are we getting Lady and the Tramp, this card actually seems like it could see play. Like It's a 5 cost. It is uninkable. I understand that. It's a 4/4, which granted, now we have the coil that you guys were just talking about, but a 4/4 cannot just be removed in the same way that like a 1 or 2 strength can. It quests for 2, which is awesome. And like, it's literally bringing 2 things back to my hand. I can bring daisies and piglets back. Maybe I need ink, so I just take piglet and I ink it. I can bring merfolks back and just put 4 lore back out. That just seems very, very powerful.
You can bring that Donald Duck back that we were talking about earlier.
Yes.
I like Lady. Is there a shift target?
There was.
Yeah, so they announced, I believe it's a 1-drop.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
sure
yeah, because Tramp goes well into it, right?
Right,
Wonder
yeah,
how
the
they-
Lady and the Tramp combo. Yeah,
Tramp
yeah.
better.
Yeah, it gave synergy because Tramp basically you can pay 1 less for Tramp if Lady's in play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was kind of cool. I don't know that I'd want to shift it on turn 3 because like I might not have 2 things in the discard to bring back, and quite frankly, I want to get max value out of playing this card. But I'm very excited to see Lady and the Tramp in the game.
So turn 1, Lady. Turn 2, Tramp. Turn 3, challenge for both Tramps.
I mean, it could also
Live
be
3.
Merfolk and Daisy. So it's just like all of these things cost 1.
Yeah.
It's just like spam the board.
Yeah, there's at some point an uninkable issue here too.
I don't know. Magic decks have 40 uninkables.
Sure.
If we're never inking past 3, we're good.
Right, but that's in a world where we always have shift target. So if we don't, then we just have a 5-cost uninkable in our hand that does nothing.
Yeah, we just concede.
Unless like there's a world you throw morph in and you shift it on morph.
Well,
I
there
don't
you
know.
go.
I don't know that I want to do that, but that is a possibility.
If it gives us other options for other things we might want to do, I
Right.
could potentially get behind that.
Food for thought as the rest of this set plays out.
Sounds like you're putting Diablo in my deck. I see what you're doing. I see what
I
you're doing.
mean, it gives me card
Oh,
draw, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Diablo goes in that deck.
I see what you're really doing. You're like, oh yeah, look at my cute lady deck.
all animals.
Except it's not.
I mean, it's hard not to have Rapunzel in this deck too, right? Like,
Sure.
probably cap at 4 or 5, I guess, with this, but really 4.
Yeah. Since we're here and since he's still hanging out with us, Scott, Giant Cobra was one of your other picks, and I let Melissa steal it from you.
It's all good.
So, Giant Cobra, for those who have not seen this card yet, one of the first cards revealed. 3 cost, inkable, 4 strength, 4 willpower, 1 lore with Vanish, and the ability Mysterious Advantage. When you play this character, you may choose and discard a card to gain 2 lore. For those of you at home that aren't positive, Vanish is when an opponent chooses this character for an action, banish them. Melissa, why is I can't figure out why you would ever choose Giant Cobra as one of your favorite cards so far.
I mean, I have been playing Amethyst Steel now pretty much since you did well with it in CCS. And you and I have probably played 50 different versions of the deck since then.
Sure.
No, but I don't know. The ink combination's been really strong. I've been kind of vibing with it, and getting more or less burn on top of that just feels really strong.
Interesting comment by Nate here. Interesting comment.
Yes, Cobra allows 4 times restoring the crown.
Exactly.
All right, Nate. I see you.
Thank you, Nate. No, I mean, Dick probably knows this better than, or Vic Durrance knows this better than a lot of people
That's
too.
better.
You get doubles in your hand when you play Doc sometimes. So like you might have an extra card that you're willing to discard, or like maybe this is a card in your hand and you're at 18. And so instead of Goat Bounce, you just draw for turn, and then you play this card and you just gain 2 lore and just win the game.
Scott, why are you excited about this card?
Because it gives you immediate value, and I like the fact that your opponent actually has to like play bad cards to deal with it, and so it might swing the meta to like play bad cards.
It's so funny. Everyone's like, oh, they'll just play whatever and they'll kill your guy. And you're like, okay, then they're playing this bad card in their deck.
I mean, like if the only card I think that's bad against the card I specifically think that's bad against are Huffalumps and Let the Storm Rage On.
Yes.
Because Let the Storm Rage On lets you go up. But like
Let you go up.
Strength of a Raging Fire is usually going to take it at, like the goal of Strength of a Raging Fire is to take out big things anyway.
Yeah.
So
I think Heffalumps is certainly the big loser.
Yeah, but like you get value
right
like, immediately. So it's not the only negative of this card is it can be a bad top deck when you have other cards in your hand. Or not as good of a top deck. I should say.
Yeah, that's fair.
It has to survive the turn. Like if you're against a discard deck and it's the only card.
I guess it just depends. Like it like, am I going to lose the game next turn?
Right.
Am I on 18? I'm just like, all right, go ahead, get to 20. If you can't, I automatically win the game. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think it's notable that if it doesn't get hit by a Storm or a Heffalumps, like a 4/4 is better than a 3/3 potentially. Like it takes out a one. It's good
stats.
Yeah. It also can sing Strength of Raging Fire. It can sing Friends on the other side. Like it can provide a lot of utility on top of potentially getting you to lore when you play it.
Yeah, I think
this is what I want to see out of Vanish is stats that are just above the curve.
Right. Yeah. It feels like the 4/4 for 3 it just is like breaking. Like that does feel like breaking rules.
Like the 3/3 for 2 is better stats, but there's still 3/2s for 2, so it can still trade on curve.
Right.
Whereas like I don't think there's
it's just Lawrence, right? Like
Lawrence. 3, 4, and
there are 4/3s for 3 for what it's worth.
But they
like Fox is a 4/3.
No, like Fox is the dub, okay. But there's also like Horus.
Yeah.
Chapter 1 card or something like that.
Yeah.
But like it exists, but no one's playing that card. I will say I will allow Paint the Roses Red. Maybe there's a world where this card comes back. I can agree to that. This is I personally think this is slam dunk 2 of. Slam dunk 2 of in the starter deck. Right? It's an uncommon, right?
Yeah.
Like how many goats did we get in the starter deck? Is it 2? Is it only 1?
I think it was. I don't remember if it was 1 or 2.
I think it's 1.
Way too good to be 2.
I think it's 1.
I think it's 1. You get one of all the bounce things.
All right, guys. No.
Yeah, I was about to highlight that as well. There was no way there was 3 goats. What?
No. What?
Is that why those starter decks are so easy to win with?
Man, no wonder I was undefeated with that deck. Nobody is going to put Distract in their deck.
That was exactly what we were highlighting of like, if our opponents put bad cards in their deck and then we just don't draw this, but they draw their bad cards, and that's
no one is putting Distract in their deck, guys. Stop that. Don't do that.
Also, this card wasn't spoiled yet when me and Willoughby's did our card reveal video. So yeah, now I feel stupid because it works well with this. Also, we're not live or anything, right? Because I'm not allowed to talk about that until tomorrow.
Sorry, sir. Turn in at 12 o'clock tomorrow. Melissa, I don't feel like going to look up what this character does. So tell me about this cat again.
So Biura is a 4/3 bodyguard that quests for 2. And on your opponent's turn, when it is banished, it basically has a grab your swords effect where it's dealing 2 to all of your opponent's characters on the board.
It was only during opponent's turns?
Yeah.
I believe that's what I read on the translation.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's during your opponent's turn.
So like,
you can't run it in and get a grab your sword. That you can't do that.
No.
But this one is OP because everything else is on your own turn.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not really sure like what kind of deck Biura fits into, but the ability just seems like it could be very powerful because it's bodyguarding your own stuff and it's basically dealing 2 damage that are unavoidable for your opponent. You're basically saying, I'm going to quest for 2 if you don't deal with it, or I'm going to deal 2 to all of your characters.
Yeah, I think this card's awesome.
So I'm excited. I mean, relevant that it is 5 costs. Like maybe it fits in a deck that sings Whole New World. I don't know.
I think this card's insane. It came out during the live stream this morning, and I had to read it like 3 times. I was like, wow. All right. I think it checks a lot of boxes for sure.
Mufasa's back on the table.
Mufasa's back. All right, let's go back to some more cards that were revealed today. 1 cost, uninkable, 1 strength, 2 willpower, 1 lore. Dawson, the Sapphire Storyburn ally detective, with the ability Be Sensible. During your turn, whenever a card is put into your inkwell, look at the top card of your deck. You may put it on either the top or bottom of your deck. Ben, I think you're the only one here that ever like actually plays Sapphire on average. What do you think about this guy?
It's all right. I don't know if we have space for a one cost on it.
Right. Go back.
Yeah.
Once. I don't know. This guy's fine. Like if he was inkable, I think you might actually get him some love.
Yeah.
Being uninkable, I'm not sure if you get him that love.
What does he combo with that Merlin?
Sure, man.
I
Sure.
guess.
I mean, in my head, an ice block is 1 uninkable, and this is 1 uninkable. Like, you probably can't fit both.
We don't need to play ice block anymore. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Melissa? That card's irrelevant. That card's.
Are you sure people aren't running ice blocks and coils?
Sell your foil ice blocks right now. Right now, sell them.
Yeah.
I sold a bunch this week.
Good luck. All right.
Nick Wild's
all
just a better 1-drop.
Guys,
Is this the first repeat? Hey.
Hey.
Yeah.
right? And it also doesn't have an ability. People were really upset about this, guys. Like, it's just a 1 cost inkable 2/2. It's just a goon. Like, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
There's nothing else.
I thought there'd be like a colorless, our first colorless card
Oh, stop it.
that could shift onto all of them.
That would be cool. I heard somebody say today that they were hoping we would get dual hey-heys. Like it would be.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It wasn't me, but
It wouldn't surprise me if it was you.
Oh, it was
There's definitely comments
Jake-
in on here.
Jake Atherton, top fan.
Right. Yeah. Look, we really thought we'd start a dual ink cycle. There you go. Yeah. He was
Yeah.
right on it. First
You know,
comment.
how Microbot says like you can have any. Like it'd be cool if there was a hey that just said you can have any hey from any color in your deck.
This-
If you could just change deck building restrictions completely.
just for hey.
Yeah, I mean he's a
Hey-Hey.
crazy little rooster. He could do anything. Look at all the mischief he gets into.
Very, very fair.
He's a rambling rooster.
What is he falling into? He's like
Uh,
falling into some kind of slime.
Archazia
like he-
says, why is he
Yeah,
wearing a coconut?
Yeah.
Shanty says it's probably better not to ask. It doesn't tell. It looks like he's just jumping in the water like normal.
Actually, that might be
Not the water.
I don't know. That might be candy.
No. Candy.
Maybe he gets stronger at some point. Anyway.
Who knows? Who knows? This came out a little bit afterwards. Yzna, 2 cost, inkable, 2/2 with 1 lore. How shall I do it? When you play this character, you may draw a card, then choose and discard a card. Sure. Scott?
I like that it's a sorcerer.
I mean, card selection's decent. The stats are bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why this couldn't be a 2/3
Sure. Yeah.
or a 3/2. But
Yeah.
sure.
What are these levers that we're looking at?
I never saw the movie.
It's not from the movie.
It can't be from the movie.
That's
right?
Archazia's island that she's on.
I know
So she's trying to break in. One of them banishes her, and one of them keeps her alive. Is my guess.
you have the eyes of the owl and the nose.
The
Oh,
levers-
okay. Look at you. All right. Look at Melissa being all smart.
And then so Yzma's like main phrase is pull the lever, Kronk.
Yeah.
One's the trapdoor.
Yeah.
One's whatever she wants. So
Yeah.
probably pull the red one.
Okay.
Just randomly.
Okay. I don't know. I think that was it.
That's pretty good.
Oh, hold on. There's one more.
I think there was another one. Yeah. Tremaine.
Yeah.
maybe?
There's one more. So Lady Tremaine is a 6 cost, uninkable, 3 strength, 3 willpower, 2 lore with that's quite enough. Exert, return chosen damage character to their player's hand. Then each opponent discards a card at random. Scott, I think you found this one. What was your original take on this guy?
This is just we don't talk about Bruno on a stick, right?
I mean, the character has to be damaged. I don't know if it's on a stick.
Oh, then no. But it would be if the character was damaged.
Yes, it would be. Yes, it would be pretty good. So I like it with the Queen of Hearts that was spoiled. I don't even know. Was it today? Was it yesterday? I have no idea when these cards are spoiled. It's how many they're coming. Technically, that's like a soft lock, right? Like they play the card, you bounce it back to their hand. Like if you can get it down to the one character off the top of their deck, and you can have these two cards in play, you basically lock your opponent out of the game, right?
Of characters, yeah.
You can return your own card to your hand. That's interesting.
But then you discard at random.
No.
Then each
damaged character to their player hand. Then each opponent discards a card at random.
Oh,
that's interesting. That's a good catch by Nate. Look at Nate hanging out.
Orion said it too.
Oh, did I miss Orion? My bad, Orion. My bad. My bad. Why is it an inkable? Probably because of all the words I just said. If this card's inkable and you can set it up and just leave your opponent playing off the top of their deck, you're like, yeah, I just have this soft lock. Like every time you play a character, it takes the damage, and then it comes back to me, and I just get to bounce it back to your hand. You have to discard it. That would be miserable to play against. I guess it'd be Emerald fitting,
Yeah.
All the chair ladies are 6 uninkable.
Oh, there you go. Look at that. Look at the tidbits. Yeah, this is just Emerald Lady Tremaine that randomly banishes cards when unconditional things happen.
It's equal.
I'm a little concerned that she won't stick as a 3/3.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, she's unplayable. But I thought we were past that. I thought we weren't even going to talk about that.
Let's make it really obvious as stated.
So Ben and Melissa, we forgot this part, but what are our feelings on restoring the crown from you guys?
Melissa's going to play this card.
And hold on. Not only is she going to play this card, she's going to beat you with it.
Yeah, of course. I can't stop it.
It's a little expensive. Like 6 uninkable is not the best.
Sure.
But
that's what Cobras are for.
Yes.
That's it, Ben? Nothing else? You're just like, yeah, I'm going to die to this. I know it. I'll just accept my fate.
Curve, right? So like now 6 is probably the top of the curve. You can probably play like Tinkerbells. I don't know. The exert all opposing characters is like the thing that scares me because like I want to drop 2 piglets or something. Like we're talking about using Lady to replay 2 Merfolk. Like this card just wrecks 2 Merfolk replay.
Yeah, that's true. What I think is, man, it's so funny. I know we talked about this like last week, but we were talking about some of the cards and just some like alternate ways to make the cards. Some of the art in this is so good that if you just gave me a full art of this, I would be excited about it. And Nate made the comment about Enchanted. I'm like, I don't know if the Enchanted can live up to this hype. Like I already like this art so much. It's tough.
James is sick, by the way. But so he's been sleeping all day.
We did, yeah. James. We covered it. Scott, are you gonna hang out for the rest of the show with us? Or are we gonna lose you for a little early?
I mean, can I be off screen and do orders?
I mean, I can just like do this, I guess. Like, but then we can't hear you ever, so that's a problem. We can bring him back, but it's up to you.
I'll just listen.
All right, he's just gonna listen. We'll move you away. Just type in chat.
I'll leave studio and just listen.
All right. Thanks for hanging out tonight, Scott. As always, Scott Lannis, excited, of course, to bring Restoring to the Crown to you guys. For everyone that did miss it, it was fun. But that'll be it for Scott. We're gonna talk about Ben's favorite cards and then SSG. So, all right.
Yep. Thanks. I'll be listening.
See you, Scott.
See ya.
Bye, Dad.
Dad's tired.
All right, and then there were 3.
There's 4.
And then there were 3. Scott. Oh boy. All right, Ben. Sapphire Coil. We kind of broke it down.
Yeah.
Card's insane. Card's real good. And we're gonna just talk about Pete now. So go ahead. Let's talk about Pete now.
All right. So I picked 3 cards that are absolutely going to end the Steel Song deck forever.
Okay.
There's a theme, and Pete is definitely on curve for that. He is just like shift 4, so you play Referee Pete, and then you shift him on 4. When this character is exerted, opposing characters can't exert to sing songs, so we can't kill Pete on return or banish him, and your pirate characters gain resist 1. So your Shmi lives, which is also good.
True.
And then we're also reintroducing a card like Grab Your Swords.
True.
Potentially in this deck, so we can just sing it on turn 4. They can't respond to our Shmi and Pete on the board, and they can't respond the turn before because we played Referee Pete.
True.
I
Yeah,
think
it sounds awful.
It sounds really not fun, but
it certainly does give itself resist 1. It's a pirate.
Oh my gosh, even better.
Floodborn villain pirate.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is just a 5/5 2-lore with resist 1.
I think we have potentially a pirate deck that we can make in green steel now.
I will say, just out of curiosity, so while this character is exerted, opposing characters can exert to sing songs and your all right, so you only had the resist 1 when you're exerted.
Yeah.
So that is somewhat relevant.
Most of the time, the only time you need
it only is not relevant the turn if you would not shift it, and you would have to play it as a 5/5 for 6.
Yeah, but guys, Baymax also costs 6 and shifts 4. And we can't play them. So there's new rules with the multicolor cards. Okay. You can't, they're both emerald, right? You think, oh, just put them in the same deck.
Yeah.
You can't. So you have to pick the broken card.
Okay.
Not this, what? Pirates. Okay. Arg.
He said arg.
Somebody better clip that.
Okay.
Oh God.
The broken card is the Pete's Referee on 3 into this.
Yeah.
That's the broken part, is that you can't respond for like 2 turns.
Yeah, don't forget about the Diablo that we played on turn 1 also, because we just hate everyone, so.
And I know this was brought up, but then there's the bibbity bobbity boo thing, and then you just replay the first Pete again.
Yeah, like the bibbity bobbity boo I think is super cute. We're probably never doing it, but it you can. It's an option that you have for sure. Ben, talk to me. What?
I was gonna say your singers are just gonna get stuck.
Oh yeah, we also have Under the Sea on turn 4.
Potentially turn 4, right? You could shift this guy.
Shift him on the Pete. You have
and
the
then, whatever. Like if we have a 2-drop laying around, we just get to do it. I mean, I don't know how good that's going to be for what it's worth in this particular color combination. Yeah. Might be good in other color combinations. So Ben, our last card is Lady Cluck. The 5-cost inkable, 2 strength, 7 willpower, 1 lore with bodyguard and ward. And I love this card. Why do you love this card?
Oh, it's a top end for blue steel. That like didn't have it. This card is like always singing Whole New World for you. And if you pair it with Cogsworth, it's just broken.
Hey, did you see Maid Marian today?
Yeah, we'll like that too. I like that blue steel has cards this set.
That's true. I do think it's interesting. I don't know that it's like the cards that like Sapphire Steel players really particularly thought that they wanted.
No.
Like I don't think anyone's like, yeah, I really hope we get like a 2/7 bodyguard, right? But like this card, I think is very real. I do think that we're going to see this card in decks.
We have like a lot of 5-drops now where we have like choices with Robin Hood, Lady Cluck, Cogsworth, like
Chenpo.
Probably playing Chenpo.
I don't know that I agree with Chenpo is better.
I
Ward
think
is a real keyword, guys.
Ward is awesome on this card. Like the fact that like a Ruby player can never banish this card without Be Prepared or Sisu, I guess.
Yeah, and it also survives. It survives Maui. On top of that, like even over the weekend, I watched someone just Strength of a Raging Fire a Chenpo. Like,
Yeah.
it just happens. Like, it's not out of the realm of possibilities.
I
With
straight
Lady Club,
fired a Stout Heart Cinderella this weekend as Amethyst Steel.
same thing, right? Same thing. Like,
Kurt Stouthearted my
it's
Ariel.
certainly possible. Go-Go, yeah, cannot be Go-Go. I guess that's super relevant.
I think Chenpo is better like 3 out of 5 times, but I think that they're two completely different utilities.
Yeah.
It's like, this is obviously infinitely better at singing, right? I think Chenpo is probably better in like the Kiwi Birds deck, whereas this is better in traditional Blue Steel.
Yeah.
So this is going to allow us to sing the whole new world and then instantly deploy whatever we want, and it's not going to die.
Right.
Also,
yeah, that's what I'll say.
Relevant. If you did stick Cogsworth, like you were saying, it can't be one shot by a Maui Shark then, because it becomes a 2/8 for all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
She's always using these smart phrases. Listen, it's intensive purposes around here, lady.
That's
all right.
This card is ruining Amber Steel. Like, if they can stick this in Cogsworth and like Calhoun's, like the game's over.
I don't even know you need the Calhouns. They could just have like characters.
Grab your swords, like
they can't turn cards sideways anyway.
Yeah.
Oh. So guys, we spent the weekend at Southside Gaming last weekend, and you two were the big winners of the weekend. So let's just go by day. Ben, talk to me about Saturday. Talk about the experience of just being in Miami and why anybody hanging out in this chat should go to Miami for like any of these SSG events coming up.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the SSG event was insane. I kind of knew what to expect when I was like, what was it? It was 135 people.
Yeah, we had 150 sign up, but only 137 ended up playing.
Which, like, any time I can get in a room of more than 30 people, if you play a tournament with more than 30 people, you can make the meta report. That's the thing. So you got to play in a tournament more than 30 people. That's always the goal. So just to push myself, like that's always what we're trying to do. And getting this room was like the challenge of February, right? It's like the end of set champs. We both played a ton of set champs. We're happy with our decks. We're locked. Like, we feel like, this is like the culmination of the set. So we get there, and then you start to see the talent that starts to walk through the door, and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm on TFM, but like these guys are like,
there was like 8 to 10 golden Mickeys
there was
in
like
the
12
room.
golden Mickeys in the room.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 of those were Zans, but you had teams, like you had team representation on a next level, right? You had SSG had their own team. You had Freedom Games. You had Labyrinth.
Yeah, World Class Cards.
Illuminati.
Yeah, Illuminati.
Class Cards.
Yep.
Was like, I mean, if you went up against a World Class Cards guy, you were like, all right, I'm playing against a World Class Lorcana player.
Yeah, you're playing against someone that, like, on average, might have a World's invite.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, what?
2 of them in the room had World's invites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, listen, he might not be on a team, but Bivens was there too.
Hey, he's on a team.
No.
Team. Snuggly Duckling had representation, which I know is another smaller team, but there was jerseys. There was, like, you walked in and you said, these are people I never want to play against, let alone we're all in the same room.
Wochuck's there. I mean, he's a free agent, but like, so I played Amber Steel. I brought Amber Steel because I know that SSG is notorious for Blurple, and their worst matchup is Amber Steel with the wheel. So the Blurple guys were like, oh, we didn't think there'd be 30% Amber Steel in the room. And I was like, we all tech for you guys. Like, that's facts. But I went through the day pretty much playing my games. The notable thing about my run is that I never saw red blue until top cut, which was nice. All the red blue got knocked out pretty much on the first day. I got 2-0'd by a red purple. I don't know how that happened. I still don't know how that happened. I asked my opponent if I misplayed. He said no. I said, okay, I don't know how this happened.
That was the most puzzling thing you told me when you're like, I lost this round. And I was like, what?
I can't believe I got 2-0'd. Like I never lose on the play with that deck, but pretty much went as straightforward. I played against purple steel a few times. That's a good matchup for me. It's one of my favorite matchups. I play against one of the most annoying purple steel players ever, so I know that matchup. And
it sucked until we paired.
Yeah, I paired Melissa in round 7, and
I think it was round 6.
It was 6.
It was 6. That's right. I keep thinking this was a DLC, and we played 9.
Yeah, it was only 8 rounds. It
was round 6, and it was very relevant that somebody had to win in order to have a chance. Like, there was no ifs, ands, or buts.
It came up the next day with SSG, and one of them didn't make it.
No, it came up in the same.
Was the next round?
Yeah, so round 6 we paired.
Yeah.
And then the next round, two locals paired against each other, and they said, "Well, here we go."
Yeah, and honestly, they bubbled in. So like they had to win and still bubble. They almost potentially knocked each other out, which is kind of crazy, even with the draw. So, sometimes it's scary to do that. Sometimes, it makes a lot of sense to do it, but oftentimes putting someone forward is a guarantee, and on average, it's like let's not test fate here. Let's just put someone in the best position to do it and kind of live life and move forward. And that's also a big thing about being on a team. And it's tough. It is tough. Dick, what about your experience before I pitched to Melissa? How was your experience at Southside Gaming?
It was great. I hit all my goals. I tweeted I was gonna go 0-4 drop.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Not only that, I was told if I 0-2 drop that I'd get to commentate. Which is the only joy I get while cards are actually being played. So I was super happy. I like just going, hanging out, meeting a bunch of people. It was great. There's a bunch of people there I didn't like. They didn't talk to me at all. There's a bunch of people, which was awesome. They didn't even look in my direction. I was like, this is my birthday. Then there was a bunch of people there that I'd never met before. They were all awesome. Like, no one that I had never met before that I talked to did I not have an amazing experience with. And then I talked to the owner. Like, we talked business a lot. Oh, guess what? It's Thursday now. Hey, I'm opening a store. I can say this now.
There you go.
Yeah. So, a lot of people have been like, oh, no, don't put me on the big screen. I look even fatter.
For big turns.
Yeah. So, I'm opening a store. And basically, it's kind of going to be like a charity. Like, I'm only opening it. We'll make a whole video about this, I'm sure. I'm only opening it because we need a better store in the area. Okay? I'm not trying to make money. And the owner of SSG, we had a conversation. Like, same thing. He just loves trading card games. And he's like, listen, if the money comes. I just want everyone to have a great time. So I completely get where he's coming from. And I talked to him for probably half hour, 45 minutes about it. And it was awesome. All of the employees were awesome. And then Ben, get Ben back on the screen. So Ben, what about when you were waiting for your top 4 match and you had to vacate the area, but special celebrity?
Yes.
I won my game. And I was like, I'm here for top cut. Like sitting at the table next to Dick, and the head judge Ronald's like, hey, I don't care, go sit out there. And I was like, looked at Dick and just didn't say anything. And Dick was like, I'm cool like that.
Yeah, I mean,
for what it's worth, you technically became part of the staff when you went to commentary.
Sure. But it was so funny. Like, Melissa just had to tell me something, got yelled at to walking over to me. like, oh, sorry, you guys just aren't Bic Durns. I don't know what to tell you. Special treatment everywhere I go. But yeah, it was an awesome time. And then the next day we went over Colby's, which I'd never been to Colby's before. Me and you may be childhood best friends, but I just met Colby in the past fiscal year. So, that was awesome.
Mr. Fancy Words over there.
Well, I've been hanging out with Melissa a lot because she was winning. That's what happens when you start becoming a winner. You get more dick attention.
I see how it is.
But yeah, life's good.
That's good. Melissa, how about your experience there?
It was. I definitely did not think I was making it to the finals. I wanted to, but the second day when I went in there, especially after basically in the first day, like I mentioned, knowing that I kind of knocked myself out after I paired into Ben, I was kind of just like, I'm taking this. I don't care. I know Dan has to watch the Eagles, and if Dan has to go watch the Eagles and I sit here alone, then see ya. Like I literally said that to you at one point.
Easiest $45 Uber I ever paid.
I was like, I don't care. Like you guys can all go watch the Super Bowl. If I'm in it, I'm in it. I started out with a 2-0 streak. So like I 2-0'd, then I 2-0'd again. In the third round, I paired into J Shaft. The day before, he was my first loss of the day. He was at the time was on Sapphire Steel. Round 2, we sat next to each other, and he's like, "Oh, I pivoted to Ruby Sapphire today." And I was like, "Oh, so I still don't want to play against you because you beat me, and now you're on a deck that's still not favorable for me to play into." He beat me, and then the next round, I paired into Kurt, who had just beat Ben, and I was like, "Oh, okay, friendly fire," because like Kurt's a friend of mine. He was playing Emerald Steel, which is not a hard matchup, but it's also not like an easy win matchup. Went to 3 games. I lost my play game, so then I had to win on the draw. Proceeded to win and kind of just kept going from there. I finished that game and I see Ben and he goes, "Oh, Dan and Bic Durns are looking for you." And I was like, "What?" He goes, "They're about to commentate and then they're leaving. So you're going to go be on feature match. Is that cool?"
Yeah. And shout out to Melissa, because everyone else on TFM wearing a jersey, they didn't have a winning record on camera. Just saying. All right.
Wait, was she wearing a jersey?
Yes.
Because I don't know how many people were like, "Oh, is she on a team?"
No, I don't wear tattoos everywhere I go all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like it was a little nerve-wracking because not only was it I needed to win, I had the two of you commentating, and it was just high stakes in a way.
Their setup was sick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Was sick. I don't know like how much cameras and things cost, but it felt like playing at a DLC. So like when you sat
I would argue that it was
better. I'm sure those screens are better.
I would argue that it was better.
We would need Nunez to prove this one, but
yeah.
Like it was insane. Like the exposure of being there was like, all right, I've played in here. I've played in like a world-class setup.
When I left I'll get through the rest of it, but when we got back in the car, I basically said, okay, if I'm ever on a feature match, I'm 100% prepared now because I know exactly what to expect.
Yeah. I mean, you got 3 rounds on there, so
I did end up having 3 rounds on there. Yes.
You got to think. I did talk to Stefan. I believe those matches are being cut up and are being placed on their channel, so they should be in existence somewhere soon. It is all still on their Twitch channel, but yeah. I did talk to him and I heard that they should be out there, not in 2 9+ hour.
I fully intend to go rewatch myself and critique it because I'm always my hardest critic.
The only way to get better. Honestly, being on camera is the best. You just, especially being on camera with commentators, because like now you get to hear, like you get to know what you were doing in the moment, and then you get to hear what they think should have happened in the moment, and then all of a sudden you can just meet in between and say like, okay, like what was actually going to exist here. I think that it's very difficult to go back. There's a lot of people out there that don't ever want to watch themselves on camera. They don't ever want to learn from those mistakes because they're too anxious about it. But in all honesty, it's an incredible tool. I tell people all the time, like if you're playing on Pixelborn Connect, put your OBS, like download OBS and just record your own games and go back and watch them later on. It's such an it's a tool that is there for you if you want to use it, and it's definitely a way to get better at Disney Arcana.
Yeah, I fully intend to go back and rewatch them. But at the end, so like I was on the feature match with you guys. You guys went off to go to Colby's house. I had to play one more round and win. I played against Wochuk, not an easy matchup. Amber Steel Wheel. I ended up 2-1 in him, so then I could draw in. Super anxious when I was drawing into Top Cut. Not because I didn't think I would make it, but because I knew there were 3 Ruby Sapphire, 2 of which were Zan and J Shaft. Like we mentioned, world-class cards, very notable, like have Nats invites, like Zan made it through. J Shaft, I believe, top 16 at NACC, and lost in that matchup there. But crazy run. I paired into the Sploosh Magoosh from Freedom Games. He was 4th seed. I was 5th. He was on Amethyst Emerald. Selfishly, I was very excited because it's a matchup that I feel favored into, even on the draw. So I won that 2-1 on the draw.
And he's a scrub. So it's like you knew it was a buy. Like all of Freedom Gaming, trash, honestly. He's the worst of them, but just awful.
This is Dan starting beef right now.
Wow.
By the way,
Starting beef.
did Ben also play Wochuk that day?
Yeah, Rotek was my round 1.
And Kurt was his round 2. So like,
Yeah, so you were the Avenger of the
She
couple.
avenged me.
Yeah.
So I was on the constant avenge tour like the entire day.
Yeah, I was about to highlight that too. Everyone knows trash.
So I play against Sploosh, and then I see at the end of our match that it's J Shaft, it's Nathan and Zan, who were 1, 2, and 3, and then it's me. So 3 Ruby Sapphires and me, and I'm like, oh, okay. There's like a 0% chance that I don't become the feature match now because the rest of the world does not want to watch a mirror match.
They don't want to split.
So very true.
Yeah.
So very true.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wasn't there for the vote, but I'm sure the vote was, yeah, no, we don't want to do that.
They were-
Gabe like flat out said to me, if you make it to top 4, you're going on stream.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
They were like, Sploosh is in top 8. We're not splitting.
Nah, a bunch
I
of
don't
people
know
were
what
hard on
this is, Sploosh, and I apologize, but
Vic Durns
yeah.
is being meanie.
It's North Carolina rivalry.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
We
thought
see each
so.
other. We see each other at events.
Quite fair.
Sploosh was so unlucky. He had such a good matchup into everyone but Melissa.
And we talked
Yeah.
about it the round before when we drew. Well, I didn't draw with him, but like we were at the tables next to each other, and I go, "You're favored into everybody but me," and he's like, "Yeah, pretty much."
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess he shouldn't have drew the last round. He should have tried to get top seed to not play you.
Very
The
fair.
guy who got top seed had a pair down and had to play Nathan.
Mm.
But yeah, so then I played Nathan, and I was against Red Ruby Sapphire. I didn't know if it was going to be Sisu on Ice or DKP version because I knew that both were in Top Cut. It was Sisu on Ice. Unfortunately or unfortunately, Ben played that matchup leading up to LCQ a lot. So I had a lot of experience with it. I'm also told, I haven't watched it back yet, that Nathan had some unlucky draws, for better or worse. But
Yeah, I was too busy watching the Eagles win the Super Bowl, so
for sure.
I
We're
haven't
gonna
watched it either.
We had her up in the background.
Yeah, like you were there, but I was not paying attention.
You were fully zoned in on the Super Bowl. This does not surprise me at all. Ended up playing through that 2-1-ing onto the finals. I didn't know if it was going to be Xander or J Shaft because they were still playing. It ended up being Justin. And I thought to myself, okay, so yesterday he 2-0'd me. Earlier on the day he 2-0'd me. I'm just going to play and believe in myself.
You gotta win.
I got a game. That's all I got for.
That belief was put in the wrong place.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm just kidding.
yeah.
Obviously,
That's
we're
all.
extremely proud of you. That was awesome.
Yeah. It was great
Yeah.
to see. You know, I talked about it on stream. I talked about for Ben and for you. I told everyone, by the way, anyone that hasn't seen it yet on the Metafy, the ultimate meta guide for Azerite C is officially free.
Nice.
And with that, you can actually catch the tournament reports from Melissa and Ben from their February events or January events. And Ben, without a shadow of a doubt, you know, there might not be too many people that know TFM Manfish, TFM Ben. I'm telling you, it's one of the best pieces of written content that we've had in a while. I was emotionally invested in Ben's story in that tournament report. So if you haven't yet, definitely check the Metafy. Go get that guide for free and just enjoy the free content. But with that, for me, I had an absolutely remarkable time at SSG. It was a blast. I will 100% go back in the future. There is no doubt about it. and I very much look forward to that. But we do have something to do here before we officially leave, and that is shout out to Lorcana Girl. She is actually the next one on the NA content creators list that is going to be releasing her card next. So I want to give her a nice little gift, and I'm going to send everyone that's on Twitch right now. I'm going to send you guys directly to her so you can watch her reveal. And then for the people on YouTube, if we want, I'm going to leave it up so we can kind of all watch together and have a nice little reaction with her. So we're going to do that now. We're sending it to her. So thank you guys for whoever was hanging out on Twitch. It was a pleasure. You guys are awesome. We do this every Thursday night. And yeah, thank you guys so much. Now, for that, we're getting ready to go. It's going. We're going to hit it right now. Boom. Have fun with her. Perfect. And now I'm actually going to bring up her stream for us.
Nice.
Stop stream. And get rid
Is
of
she the
this.
last reveal of the night?
She is the last reveal for NA for the night. Yeah. Boom.
Oh, Forbidden Mountain is amazing. If you don't know them, you should. You should be ashamed of yourself if you don't know them.
Smart lady.
You-
I actually met her at one of the releases at
I just want to see the
Disney
actual
Springs. She was great.
Anyways, go follow them. They just came in here.
Apparently, I don't have a verified account, guys. I was unaware of that.
Yes, you can make it in time. I'm literally about to do it. Like waiting for
That seems
everybody to
impossible.
get here, and then it's gonna happen. So, yeah. Thank you so
All right.
much again for the raid. Oh, thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate you, Top Hat Henry. Oh, thank you.
Love it. One thing I want to say about
Right,
the reveal
it's your
season
board.
for NA is that there was a lot of content channels that got reveals that probably didn't get one last time. You know, I talked about this before. You know, we went from
Oh, I'm always on your
7
Mushu,
in
I've been on
Shimmering
your page
Skies
since
to
day
8 in
one.
Azerite Seas
But
to
are
over
we all here? Is
25
everybody ready?
for
Because
at
I wanna reveal
Archasia's
this
Island. And I
card.
think it's big because I
So,
think it
I
just
feel
shows like,
I'm just
hey,
gonna do
Ravensburger's
it
watching.
because
You know, they
why
want
wait
people
any
to make content for
longer,
their game and in the like
for people
kindest,
to
nicest
get
way
here? Like,
possible.
if I
This is
said
like their way of
45,
trusting
I'll
you.
give it like one more
Lorcana
minute.
Girl hadn't streamed in a
46
couple
for
months.
people to get here,
And she's
and
now
then
here.
it's
She's talking about
happening.
Lorcana. Her whole stream tonight was about,
All right, you
you know,
ready?
reviewing set 6 with her community. And I think it's really great that like we get to watch her reveal her first card.
Okay.
All right.
3, 2, 1, go.
Go.
Okay.
I'm getting Harry Potter vibes.
The suspense, guys. The suspense. What? Oh. Why are we going in the Matrix?
Ooh.
Matrix.
Did that get bigger? That's what she said.
Looks like my vows. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Oh, she needs glasses.
She looks like a scientist or something.
There's some stuff going on.
It's
Is
a
she just like
person
another
bit.
Yzma? Like, is this a Yzma character?
Ooh.
I thought that was gonna be an Alice in Wonderland reference. The little drink me bottle.
Oh, is it?
No, I think
No.
I think it's Yzma.
I think it's Yzma. Okay.
I'm getting Yzma vibes.
I'm getting something that we can't mention on here vibes. At least pharmaceuticals.
Uh-oh. This would be the worst time ever for me to get an ad, right? That would be so tragic.
Christian knew what was up.
Oh, that
Lemon.
makes so much
Lemon.
sense.
Okay. 2 cost, inkable, 2 strength, 2 willpower. I missed it. Maybe she's probably gonna, hopefully she drops it for us.
So there we have it, honey lemon. I'm gonna leave it on this screen for a minute.
So whenever you
everybody can
play
look
a
at it and
Floodborne
screenshot
character,
it if they want.
if you use shift
But
to
yeah,
play
thank
them,
you so
you may
much.
move 2 damage
I
from
do
chosen
have to
character.
say,
Okay, so it's similar to the
one card that came
Baymax
to my mind, and my
What?
partner is.
We don't even need Shift Baymax's ability anymore. What the heck?
I'm gonna get a Grandpappy. Someone gonna make me a
That card's
Grandpappy
broken.
deck, and I'm gonna have to make a Grandpappy.
Stearns likes it.
There we are. So shout out to Lacana Girl on her first reveal. Well, guys, it's been fun.
Girl.
We are. I think we're already halfway through the set in 4 days.
That's insane.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, mine's smart. I tried delaying it, but like I can't believe how much they showed at once, which has
Yeah.
been nice. Like I really like spoiler season being short because people can argue for way less time. Like, oh, that card's broken. That card's unplayable. Like, if anyone
Yeah.
goes back and looks at like when you cover top 10 cards from
Just-
whatever set
listen,
Diablo was in,
Just go to RMB's Twitter feed, guys. It tells all the stories.
he quit the game. So I don't know what you're talking about. He said, "I'm quitting the game."
Again.
So if
Well, that was only for like 2 hours.
if he did not quit the game, he's a liar. No one should ever trust him.
He did quit for 2 hours.
Sure, I quit all the time. I go to sleep 8 hours. I'm lying. 12 hours. I quit.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh man, I can't wait for people to see my video where I'm a bobblehead, per usual. But I
Nice.
just sit there like, yeah. Also, if anyone wants to share it on socials, you don't have to tag me. I don't care. Like, I appreciate Ravensburger trusting me with their product. I'm sure like everyone does. Like, I appreciate shouting out Lurkana Girl right there. But at the end of the day, no one is going to click on the video just because they saw the card that I reveal. So don't worry about people in the chat telling you you're a terrible person if you share it on Twitter. I will give everyone permission.
We are.
You don't have to link it back to me.
I don't know how official or unofficial, but I heard through the grapevine that we will not be seeing Enchantments this week. I think they are purposely holding them until the end this time, and they might actually have control of it this time.
They should hold them until release day.
I mean, listen.
Unfortunately, people
you
stores will open early, so
you will never
yeah.
ever get that again. Like we talk about this every once in a while, but being there at Gen Con, not having any idea that enchanted cards existed, and then all of a sudden social media blowing up because some of us were in a giant mob of people that was awful, which is why we don't talk about this very often. But you'll never get that again. You'll never have the opportunity to shock everybody. So I don't think there's any world that we're ever going to have like, oh, we're not going to find out till release date. That's just, it's like you said, stores get shipments in Tuesday or Monday. Like they're opening packs the moment they get them in. Like they're not waiting until Friday.
Yeah. Forget the rules.
Yeah.
Forget what you signed. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
We've had casters come on here and say that they opened the product early.
Yeah.
So who's gonna stop?
I don't know. I have never opened a product early ever.
Well, yeah, you're also never gonna be a caster apparently, so it doesn't matter.
Shout out to SSG once again for giving me the opportunity. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty fun. Now for us, for you guys, if you're not yet, next Wednesday, some number of people in this room are playing for TFM for the ICL next week.
I thought that it was tomorrow.
What?
No.
No.
It's next week.
Wednesday. You traitor. All right, traitor. We're supposed to be Wednesday, Friday of next week. But you played early.
That's what happened.
So now it's 2 Wednesdays.
I thought I was definitely gonna play for TFM, and I was gonna be the only person to play on 2 teams in 1 week.
How come you only win when you don't play for TFM?
Yeah, what the hell is that?
I know, right?
Ever.
I have it in writing. You said you will not draw that well again.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can.
You drink the tea. That's what happens. It was nuts. I got back into the private chat with the rest of Villainous team. Villain goes, Dick, he had a family. It was hilarious. I felt so bad. Like I like Ferranti. I hang out with him at DLCs, and I was so glad to get paired in him. Also, like I was in the room, everyone thought I was a caster. Like no one had.
Dick, can you explain this to me?
Yeah, answer this.
Can you?
I mean,
We'll
you
watch
just
it
draw the
again.
nuts,
We'll watch it again. All right, hold on.
dude. I rewatched it last night.
Watch
I was
it again.
dying laughing.
What is this? You're taking this. What is that? What is that, Dick?
I don't remember
What
doing
is
that at
that?
all.
How could you?
I don't know what you're talking about. I have a whole stack of them here, not ripped. Their name is signed. I don't even know where that one came
I'm
from.
gonna ask Alice where the ripped one went.
Unbelievable.
She
ate it. What are you talking about? You probably just ate it.
I didn't even recall playing. I had to watch it back last night. It was hysterical watching it.
Awful.
Ripped the mountain.
Oh, someone knows The Simpsons now, but no one knew Boo Earns. Posting on Twitter later.
Responsive Jorge. Putting down Dick.
But yeah, dude, like Ferrante's demeanor. Well, for what he was so happy, like when he found out I was actually playing him. He's like, whoa, what? Like, I'm just in the room. I could be a caster or whatever.
Sure.
I was happy that like if I was going to lose, it was going to be to someone that I'm friends with. Like if I am going to put someone over, I want it to be someone that I like, you know.
Facts.
Oh, they didn't watch the ICL? Sleeping. Anytime TFM or Villain Club only, you don't have to watch any of those other terrible teams like Freedom Gaming.
Here we go again.
God.
So we have to play against Cerberus Den.
Yeah, but that's a team. We're playing. I also play against Tessa. Are I really playing the game?
I heard Alice is a killer. Tessa
Thank God
I
it's not one of
joke.
these like Russian MMA fights where the whole team can fight. It'll be 40 on 4.
Yeah, I made a joke a couple weeks ago, and I knew no one was going to get it. It made me sad. But it was just like a picture from the DLCL Australia, and it's like 40 different people, and it's like team whatever. And I'm like, I don't understand. This is Team Seberston, isn't it? Like they have like 35 players on their team.
Someone would have to know you to understand a joke about you.
I know, yeah. So yeah, I can't even say like, oh, I hope we play against this player. I don't. Like, I don't know. There's so many of them. I have no clue.
Oh my God. I got a great joke. What's the turtle's name from Finding? Not Squirt. Is it his dad?
Crush. Uh-oh.
It'll be totally awesome.
Jesus, there's so many. We're just playing against like Wayne, Garth, Bill, Ted, Cheech, Chong, Mary Kate, Ashley, Paul, John, George, Ringo, Dontel. Insert every kid.
I love it. That's so true. That's so true. Oh, it actually sits out like we sit down for the game, and somehow there's like an extra Pixelborn Connect screen. It's 2-on-1. You know,
I'd do it.
You just have the numbers somehow. You're like, what's going on?
Like cards say each opponent, so
it's true.
Yeah, we can still win. Diablo broken, as if it wasn't.
Prince John broken.
Yeah.
Baymax broken.
Baymax with Universal Shift broken.
Yeah, broken.
It heals.
So true. But it does be fun.
Yeah.
ICL's been fun to watch, fun to keep up with. I'm not exactly sure what's going on right now. But it is next Wednesday we compete in that. That starts at 7 Eastern.
Yeah.
6 Central.
No. Starts at does it?
Yeah.
Oh, the player meetings at 6.
Player meeting starts at 6:30 Eastern for us. We do
To be
have
honest,
some.
I've never watched it. I've only played it.
And commentate it.
Yeah, so like we get there early.
That's true.
That's why I'm like, oh, no, it's not 7.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so it should be fun. We'll go hang out with them for the night. We only have, is it 7 now? Is it 6 or 7
Members?
Yeah,
So few.
I
Depends
think
on if you count honorary people.
what's I'm saying. So like, it's only the 4 of us from actual TFM, and then we have Alex from Chaotic. That's an
Oh,
honorary.
in the ICL. I thought
Yeah.
you meant just in
yeah,
real
yeah,
life.
yeah. No, I'm saying so we have the honorary Alex, the honorary Ben Vosmos Cosmos, and then the honorary Christian Young. I think that's it. I think it's just like that's our honorary members. I tried to cherry pick Dale, but he never gave me an answer.
He told me the other day this morning he might take you up on it.
Well, he needs to give me an answer because I gotta fill out the roster
Come on,
sheet.
Dale.
Also,
right.
you let Christian in there?
I did like Christian.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I mean, he does coach, so
True.
he must
True.
know something.
He's a Minnesota native. Scott doesn't like webcams.
Yeah.
No chance.
There's no way Colby does webcams.
No,
Colby, no chance. Nate, no chance.
Did they
Matt-
show my
Matt
player
Oakley,
card?
no chance.
chance.
Did they show my player card? It wasn't prepared yet
No.
when I started
We
playing.
were on a
I
plane.
I
so-
only saw the luxury ones, and then I think I saw Bivens. I don't think
I
didn't
saw
see
one
you.
for
or-
Alex.
Evans and Sky, they showed theirs.
No.
They yeah, someone forgot I was playing
Yeah,
and
look,
made one
team.
for a teammate that was not playing. I was like, just show that one, it'll be hilarious.
Jorge wants to know if Kylie's playing.
No.
But yeah, my player profile card says after losing to Lorcana Villain, I was recruited to be his lackey. They figured they needed someone who's going to lose all the time, so no one complains that it's just nothing but all-stars.
But then you were better than Bivens.
I drew better, that's for sure. Like, we're in the private chat. We're like, oh, he only mulliganed this many. He's got to have Diablo shift on one drop. Okay. Good games. Nice to see you.
Sweet color combination.
Yeah, and then I was so upset because I felt like I had the best chance of winning on the draw. Like when I took Amber Steel to at Star City Games Baltimore, Garrett, the judge, was like, "Hey, good job! You're the only person that won on the draw." And then in top 4, he's like, "You're the only person that won on the draw again." I 2-0'd everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I felt like I had the best deck for if Bivens won, I'm then on the draw.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. But since Bivens lost, I was on the play when like I 2-0'd anyway. So like it didn't matter that I was on the play.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
It was fun. I took a picture. There at one point you had like 13 characters in play. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was nice.
Actually,
I was
insane. You played all 4 Pete's.
and all 4 whole new worlds.
Like, you're just so.
And did I play all 4 aerials? I think I had
in
triple
game 2? I think you
quads.
played all 4
The
aerials.
screenshot
Yeah.
you had up, I'm pretty sure there were 3 aerials on
It was
there.
like.
I think he banished one.
It was
And
the
then
epitome of evil.
the other game, I had 2 Rapunzels in my hand. So my aerial, I put a whole new world on the bottom, or I would have had all 4 again. And then, funny enough, he's drawing so many cards. I go, Francie, how many cards are left in your deck?
Yeah.
He's like, brah, I registered 70. It ain't gonna happen. I was like, all right. I was like, don't bother counting it. It was hilarious. Like, I legitimately think I might have decked him game 2 if he didn't have 70 cards.
Yeah.
So say what you will. The man metagamed.
Yeah. That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, it was really fun. And then like we swore Sky was cooked.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah. Game 1 was woof.
Yeah, and then
Oof.
game 3, not a lot of time. He's on the draw again. It's not a great matchup without a whole new world. And like, like Captain Hooks and stuff are just doing nothing. And I think Diego just like drew pretty bad.
This is the first set with character cards featuring more than one character, Keita and Calhoun. I don't think so, right? I don't know. I guess I don't specifically understand the question.
I don't know what they're saying.
Yeah, try a follow up. I need a follow up. I think the answer is no, but I'm not exactly positive on the direct question. Yeah, I mean they're fun. They're fun to watch. They, your games were mean.
Well, I was trying to be extra villainous. Like I felt like I actually could have won differently, but I whole new worlded twice in one turn just to play another Pete. Like my hand was really good, when I wheeled again. I could have just let him B prep if he had one, which turns out he didn't. I had like 6 characters, whole new world. As the like I could have just let him B prep, played a bunch of characters. And then whole new world the next turn. But I'm like, no, I'm on stream. I'm like have a commanding lead. I'm just gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
Like even game 2, I had 0 lore. I'm like, I gotta get Pete.
Yeah.
Because if I play 4 Petes, I had to ink one. But if I play Pete like every turn, both games, I just look like such a bag. And that was the goal. Like, just have fun.
It's very fair. Well, everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. This has been an absolute blast. And it's been fun. We do this every Thursday night, which is awesome. And I've been doing like morning streams between 9:30 and 11:30, kind of during the spoiler season. I think tomorrow we are taking the day off, though. It's not happening. Maybe back Monday, though. But nonetheless, thanks to everyone for hanging out with us. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our card reveal. One more time, we'll end the stream with it. We'll go back all the way. Boop, boop,
Boom,
boop,
there it is.
Boom.
Lorcana Girl.
And
newest member of TFM.
And we will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, Ben and Melissa, and of course Dick Burns, and let's not forget about Dad Scott Landis. It's been great, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Bye, guys.